to get some preliminary information as to what caused this crash, but obviously we know these NTSB reports take months before you get a final conclusion.
All right, Jonathan, thanks for the update. I know we'll keep talking to you this morning. Appreciate that information.
And again, that rescue operation continuing as we speak. Just reading some reports here online, passengers saying that they were on board that train. One man saying he was sitting in the front seat of the third car when it derailed. And you got to remember that this train was moving, so it didn't just fall over and stay flat. He said they screeched along the ground for several, he said it felt like several minutes. He said it felt like an eternity, but at least a minute or so before it finally came to a halt. Describes how he was on his back and eating gravel and glass, he said, but just thankful to be eating gravel and glass because he knew he was alive. Just could not believe what was happening. And you multiply that times the dozens and dozens of people who were on board that train, and imagine the terror as you're coming home on a Sunday morning from an outing with family or friends, or as Jonathan said, perhaps coming into the city to spend some time shopping, heading into Grand Central Station, and you're a short 11 miles from your destination when this tragedy unfolds here in the Bronx.
And as you take a look from these live pictures coming in from Chapter 4, you talk about sort of the awareness of what happened or not. You know, all of a sudden you can see, you know, kind of as those cars form a bit of a U, there's an indentation in the ground there. And when we've zoomed in a little bit on the tracks, you can see they were ripped up, indicating just that this train was moving, you know, it was not stopping at that station, so it was moving along there. And see, here you go. I mean, those are, and I believe these are sort of the newer railroad ties. I can't tell if they're wood or concrete, but you can tell they're totally, the track itself is bent.
Yeah.
It almost snapped, and the ties themselves are all, you know, ripped up. So this train was moving along, and they became uncoupled from the other cars. And so you had those first four cars moving, you know, on their own towards the river at a, you know, significant rate of speed, especially on that section of train. So again, you talk about a passenger on his side at that point. Yeah, it doesn't, as you say, just flip over. It keeps moving and moving, and you have no idea what's going on.
And just stopping just short of the water, and that is nothing short of miraculous that those trains did not end up in the water, that any of those cars stopped, that they did not wind up in the Hudson River there. But again, it's just this massive rescue effort underway this morning. You don't see a frenetic look to what is happening there, but you can imagine inside, what's happening inside those train cars is what we cannot see, as firefighters and EMTs have gone into those cars to try to see if they can attend to the people who are inside, some of them perhaps trapped under debris, under luggage, as you point out, because a lot of people were no doubt on Thanksgiving break visiting family and friends, and the glass, the shattered windows, the cars themselves, the seats that they were sitting in could have become upended. We don't know what has taken place inside those trains, but we do know that there are at least 4 dozen people who have been hurt, and reportedly 4 has lost their lives. 4 people have lost their lives at this horrific accident.
We've been getting a perspective of what happened from the neighbors who live in that area. This is a residential area. News 4's Sheldon Dutes has been talking to them, and he joins us again live. Sheldon?
Well, Pat and Gus, all eyes are on those derailed cars over here, and we want to show you again what it looks like from our vantage point. This is as close as we could get, and you can see the brush and the trees that we're dealing with, and firefighters are also dealing with that to try to get as close as they can. Now, I've been talking to people all morning long. They say they have seen people walking around with neck braces on. They've seen some of the people that were in the cars that were right side up just walking out, people that looked like passengers. But again, all eyes on these ones that are flipped over, because we've been out here with all the neighbors. Everyone's watching to see. They have not seen any passengers coming out of these flipped over cars. And if we pan over a little bit more, I want to show you what it looks like over at the Spuyten Duyvil station. Firefighters, looks like they've got a makeshift command center over here in this area, and you can see them all with their hats in that little overpass that goes over the train tracks. This is where we can assume they are devising a strategy to try and get to the people that might still be in those cars that are flipped over. Again, we've been talking to people, and hear how they are describing what they heard and saw.
Well, right below my window, I could see the engineer car and a couple of cars behind that are still upright. And then when I came out the building and took a look here, you can see the remaining, the last 4 cars in the train were completely toppled over, and people wandering around the tracks. And very quick, I called 911 immediately as soon as I had my window shade, and the response from NYPD and the fire department was tremendous. They were here within minutes.
And you're taking another live look again at that makeshift command center here at Spuyten Duyvil Station. Just beyond the station, there is an NYPD boat in the water. Again, not one of these cars fully submerged in the water. The flipped over cars are right at the water's edge. And we are waiting to find out and waiting to see the rescue efforts for those cars that are flipped over. Firefighters